got Porzingis, you got Holiday, you got Derek White, you got literally, I would say what? 5 guys can get you 20 points in a game?
I know people say it's, only one guy. I don't believe that, Coach, that, one guy, those days are over, in my opinion. Like, a Bill Russell, a Wilt Chamberlain.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You're going a little deep bomb hunting here. We don't care that we have the one heavy favorite with Rory, a couple other guys like Fleetwood and Tagala, etc. You're going to go a little deeper down the board.
This course, I think, is going to play a little bit more to the wedges. They have, what they did is they've renovated it to basically block off some of the bombing alleys for these guys. They've narrowed the fairways.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Garrett Cole's getting ready to come back, too. I guess this... Look, they've played great without him, but you're not going to say to Garrett Cole, look, don't come back. It's a ridiculous conversation to have.
They're not going to take any unnecessary chances. And look, they're at the point where they have a lead. They certainly are going to make the playoffs, I would say, barring some sort of complete collapse. And that's all it takes.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
8 playoff games at home for Boston in Beantown. They are 6-2 straight up.
The wild card, I would say, in this game is not necessarily, well, what are we going to get out of Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Brown, and certainly Tatum. It is Kristaps Porzingis to me, because we're not getting back a player that's like, hey, rotational guy. Like, remember when Derek Lively went down with an injury? He was playing well, but a young player, like a piece.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome in. It is Game Time Decisions live on SportsGrid on a Thursday night. Week 2 of NFL action kicks off in just over 2 hours' time with an AFC East clash. The Miami Dolphins against the Buffalo Bills. SportsGrid has you covered all night long. We'll kick this off with Game Time Decisions for the next hour. Myself, Kevin Walsh, leading the charge. Casey Hudson and the pregame show will begin at 7 o'clock, taking you up until kickoff, where myself, Donnie Rightside, and Joe Lisi will be with you for all 4 quarters of tonight's monster game. DRS will stop by during Game Time Decisions as well and get some of his early thoughts with Week 2 and that Sunday slate on the horizon. We will quickly put an eye on that baseball board. Judgy might go deep tonight. We have time. But, folks, let's just get into Thursday night football. It's a big one. It is, for me personally, one of the biggest games that we've seen so far based on my investment in the Miami Dolphins to win the conference. The Dolphins are a 2.5-point favorite, listed total 48.5. Miami has been climbing up throughout the week. This number started at Miami -1. Your total has been dropping some. It was in the 50s. Tough to tell how much of that movement is correlated to people just banging under with any total that would dare creep into the 50s. We saw last week's 2 higher totals. You think back to, now the game in Brazil was a different story, but you think back on that Sunday slate, Sunday Night Football, 52.5, Lions-Rams, overtime. You never had a chance till even to cash that ticket. And then you go to Jaguars-Dolphins, 49.5, and that game, a bang under as well, just 37 points in that football game. So some of that under money could be correlated to that. Some could be weather-based as well. All stuff to keep your eyes on. But I'm involved in the side in this game at Miami -2.5. It should come as no surprise. The Dolphins are my pick to win the conference, so certainly they're my pick to win the AFC East. I think that this team has the ability to be top 8 offense and defense in the National Football League, and it's a time for them to show it here against Buffalo, who handed them a pair of monster losses last year. The first was a 48-20 rout that suggested Miami could not hang, and that paled in comparison to the Week 18 finale. A win for Miami would have seen them win the division and have a home playoff game. It would have knocked the Buffalo Bills out of the playoffs as well. Instead, the Bills beat them again. Buffalo climbed all the way up to the 2 seed. Of course, they didn't do enough with it. As somebody that had, Bills Super Bowl futures, it would have been a lot better to see. But this is a step-up spot for Miami. It's why I talk about a bit of nerves. There's a level of importance here tonight that Miami has to show that this year will not be the same as last, that they can beat good playoff teams, that they can beat playoff contenders, and that's what the Buffalo Bills are supposed to be. Buffalo checks in as a near minus 200 favorite to make the playoffs. But I've said during the lead-up to this season and throughout Week 1, I think Buffalo will miss the playoffs this year. They beat Arizona. That's not going to change my perception. They were down 17-3 in that game. A credit to them for coming back. They did so with Josh Allen playing what I believe will be one of the best games he plays all year. Clean football from Josh Allen, 2 touchdowns in the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground. And I don't know how often Josh Allen will be able to repeat those performances with what's around him on a week-to-week basis. So for me, if I were looking to fade Buffalo, I would be just looking to bet Miami tonight, which is what I'm doing. If the Bills get a win here tonight, though, I want to see how it plays out. I might start to change my tune. I could be wrong in a couple of areas. Certainly going to have to adjust with what the games tell us. Miami, though, you look at some of their outlook numbers, a plus 180 co-favorite to win the AFC East. Both Buffalo and Miami jump over the New York Jets as they win their opening weekend games. And the Jets not just lose, but smashed. Let's call it what it was. On Monday night against the San Francisco 49ers. However, it wasn't a world of movement here, considering one of these teams, unless there's a tie, is, of course, slated to lose, and the Jets are road favorites in Tennessee. The books are likely going to have the winner of tonight's game as your favorite at 2-0, and if the Jets handle business, they'll be slotted at 2. The loser tonight will jump to 3rd in AFC odds. You see this to win the AFC number 10-1, still very near the 11-1 that I played on the Miami Dolphins, who I think tonight have a chance to start a lot of movement for themselves up this board. I mentioned what a win would do in the AFC East for whomever wins the game tonight. Well, I think they would jump Buffalo. That's 7-1. I think they'd jump the Jets as well at plus 750. Houston and Baltimore are sizable favorites. This week, the Ravens lay over a touchdown at home to the Las Vegas Raiders, off of a mini-bye as well. I'm sure many will be looking to back Baltimore, whether that be survivor pools, laying that number, teaser players as well. The Texans were at one point a touchdown favorite for Sunday night against the Chicago Bears. That number's dropped a little bit. Perhaps if those teams do hold serve, they'll hold off Miami. But if either team slips up, I think the Dolphins can get inside this top 3 to win this conference if they're able to just handle business tonight. Again, favored in the football game, home field advantage. I know there's some injuries to the running back room. Tua Tagovailoa needs to step up. Let's put these two quarterbacks side by side and take a look at some of their props here tonight. What stands out? I have to start on the Josh Allen end of it. Minus 146 to throw an interception. You have to go back to December of 2022 to find the last time Josh Allen went consecutive regular season games without throwing an interception. I give him credit. I have to add that caveat due to Josh Allen last year not throwing an interception in either playoff game that he played. That now means Josh Allen has played 3 straight games without an interception if we go back to the postseason. Is Josh Allen going to make it a 4th consecutive game without a pick? Odds are no. I think that's one of the big benefits in Buffalo or in Miami's favor is that I expect a lesser evening from Josh Allen. Fascinated to see how Tua steps up here tonight. 1.5 passing touchdowns at minus 138. Some people will probably be looking for Tua to throw a little bit more due to that running back situation. Before we get there, let's look at the Buffalo key players tonight. And it's James Cook, it's Keon Coleman, it's Dalton Kincaid, all grabbing headlines for many. You'll see James Cook bets tonight on our in-game live special. Keon Coleman was the number 1 target for Josh Allen in week 1 at 5. Dalton Kincaid was one of the main disappointers, though. Just 1 catch in that football game. Dalton Kincaid can very easily bounce back in this game. He led all pass catchers in snaps in the Week 1 game against Arizona. It's too expensive for me. I'm on Dawson Knox over 12.5 yards. I mentioned Dalton Kincaid, the top player in terms of snaps played as far as pass catchers go. Well, Dawson Knox was tied with Keon Coleman for second. I think Dawson Knox plays plenty here. I think he goes over 12.5, just like he did last week against the Arizona Cardinals. Did it on one catch for 23 yards. As far as the Miami Dolphins go, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, a pair of stars. But I'll bet Jalen Waddle tonight, anytime touchdown scorer, plus 180. All of Waddle's touchdowns last year were at home, a little bit of a boost. Last week, he had a run inside the 10-yard line. Can we get another one of those tonight with potentially a banged-up running back room? Let's get Waddle anytime touchdown at plus 180 on the board. Speaking of touchdown scorers, this is where we get into the Miami running back situation. Devon Achane and Jeff Wilson, both minus 165. We have still not been given word on if Achane will play tonight. We know Raheem Mostert is out. Well, last year, Achane played without Raheem Mostert in the final 2 weeks of the year, scored a touchdown in both of those football games, but Jeff Wilson in Week 18 had 45 rushing yards of his own. There could be value. We'll continue to dissect Thursday Night Football, Bills, Dolphins, right here on SportsGrid.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Would it make you feel better as a bettor or as a sports fan if they said after the game we were trying to cover the spread?
Oh, God. To say it out loud? Oh, my God, no.
So what,
no to say it out loud? Oh, my God. You can't say that out loud. No, you can't even. You can't do that.
Okay, so what is the big deal either way?
Oh, play the game the right way.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
I feel like the first person to take a kicker in fantasy football is somebody that feels like, man, I had a really bad draft. Let me make sure I get the best kicker. The way I've always looked at it that way. Like, oh, I did so bad, so let me take Justin Tucker.
The key for me is, though, I make marks. Okay, this guy, I'll highlight him because I don't want 3 or 4 of these guys. I draft 3 or 4 of these guys and they all get hurt. I have no one to blame but me.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, Game Time Decisions. We're in the mix with you right here on a Thursday night. I am so fired up for this football game. I know it's week 2, right? Easy, calm down. I hear you. I cannot wait for this thing to start. I really cannot. And it's because of how important I believe this game is as a Miami Dolphins future backer, especially tied to my beliefs on the Buffalo Bills. Look, I know people are going to think I'm piling on Buffalo here, but you got to go with what your priors tell you, this early on in the season. If this was Dolphins-Jets, I wouldn't feel as much of, man, Miami better get this one. Because for me, the Jets, it was more price-based than anything. I believe Buffalo is the third of that trio of teams at the top of the AFC East. If this was the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, I would feel differently than I do tonight. But because I'm not just in on Miami, but largely out on Buffalo, there's a bit of pressure here tonight to see if Miami can prove me right. You know, I go back to last week, that Friday game in Brazil, and make all the jokes you want about me being an Eagles fan, but the Eagles were my Super Bowl pick this year. I'm not as in on Green Bay as everybody else. The Jordan Love stuff, I know is changing all of their expectations, but that was a really big game for Philadelphia. They needed to win that football game. We don't know what it's like going to be coming back from playing a Week 1 game in Brazil. So, their game against Atlanta, they're big favorites. They might get to a touchdown by the time the Pro Football Today crew's back here on a Monday night. I'm not sure. I probably won't be on the Eagles in that football game. I may even be on Atlanta if that thing gets up to 7. I really might. But for Philly, they got that win. I need to see the same thing for Miami tonight, but I do believe we will. I am betting the Miami Dolphins at -2.5. With what I believe of these teams, I shouldn't be able to get under 3 at -115. I am able to get 115 at under 3 for the 2.5-point spread. So that's the absolute bet that I'm going to make there. I mentioned my Dawson Knox bet just to really kind of drive this point home. Josh Allen tonight has a 33.5 attempt prop. Last week, they ran the football 33 times, despite at the 2-minute warning being down 17-3. Clearly, this is a team that would like to run the football if opportunity presents itself there due to what is still, all in all, a lackluster pass-catching room. When you have someone as dynamic as Josh Allen and, of course, a guy in James Cook who they like, they might not want to throw all that much. Josh Allen with just 23 pass attempts. So it led to really everybody underwhelming in the pass-catching game, no one more than Dalton Kincaid. I'm not betting Kincaid tonight because I thought that the numbers were not too far adjusted underneath. His prop in week 150.5 tonight, it's 42.5, 4.5 receptions. But when I went through the snap count for the Buffalo Bills, it stood out to me that Kincaid was 1 and Keon Coleman was tied with Dawson Knox at 2. Dawson Knox is, in terms of who Josh Allen has a rapport with, the guy more than anybody else on this roster. And the prop at 12.5 is basically no movement from where we saw his numbers in week number 1. 1 catch, 23 yards, was targeted twice. I don't want to bet the 1.5 receptions prop. Hardly ever in his career has Knox caught 2 passes and stayed under 12.5 yards. At -122, it was lining up to be my favorite bet until I got more eyes on this Ray Davis prop here tonight. 9.5 rush yards. Hilariously enough, this actually was a bet I thought of going under. This number was 11.5 earlier on today. But the more I thought on this Ray Davis number, the more I was sold. I mentioned snap counts with the pass-catching room. Last week, Ray Davis was in on just 6 offensive plays. Obviously, that's not a monster workload. Well, he had 3 carries in the game. They like Ray Davis a lot. They like Ray Davis in Buffalo, the rookie running back out of Kentucky. They are believers in this kid. And that means when he's on the field, they want to get him the football. Again, he only had 6 snaps. He caught a pass as well. So he caught or ran on 4 of his 6 plays to football. Number's 9.5. Last week he had, on those 3 carries, 2 of them went for nothing. Guess what the other one did? It went for 13 yards. This is a one-play play, and that is exactly how we can get home. But here's the other end of it and why this is now my favorite bet so far of so far this season, and that's going to happen as we get more evidence on our laps here. Ty Johnson was on the injury report earlier this week. I know he was taken off of it before tonight's game, but Ty Johnson, who received 14 snaps, what if we shift those numbers? What if Ray Davis gets 10 snaps? That might be 5 carries. Then I need 2 yards a carry for Ray Davis. Again, I mentioned it's a team that wanted to run the football despite the game script that they had against Arizona. I think Ray Davis is a guy that they're all in on. Over 9.5 rushing yards. It's my favorite bet here tonight. I absolutely, absolutely love. Let me just say, Jalen Waddle's anytime touchdown is the number that I'm on. But I'm sure many people will be looking to get involved with the running back room for Miami. So Achane last year in weeks 17 and 18, there was no Raheem Mostert. Week 17, they were smashed by the Baltimore Ravens. He still managed 14 carries for 107 yards, had 4 grabs for 30 yards, and a touchdown on 5 targets. Week 18 against the Buffalo Bills, 10 carries, 56 yards, and a score. Not a lot of work in the pass-catching game, just 1 target. He caught it for 5 yards. But also in that game, it stood out that Jeff Wilson had 9 carries for 45 yards. Here's how I'm looking at this here tonight. We still have not been given official word on Achane, okay? We're still waiting for that all. Now, if he is in, I'm not sure what the books are going to do with his props. I will probably leave those be. You guys know I'm in on Achane at a high level this year. Offensive Player of the Year bets were placed at 60-1. That number's 55-1. I'm really rooting him in playing tonight. It's a big opportunity at home with no Raheem Mostert. I'm expecting at least 15 touches. Should find the end zone. But I think the value will come on Jeff Wilson. I think that Jeff Wilson's props could probably be in the high 20s as far as rush yards go. Since I think Miami wins the game, I think they'll still be interested in running the football some. And I'm not sure they're going to look to Achane to ice the game if he's coming off of an injury. That's where Wilson could really eat. All stuff we will keep eyes on here tonight on a Thursday. We're live on SportsGrid with Game Time Decisions. Quick break, and we're right back at it here on the Grid.
When it comes to betting on sports, injuries matter, and Sports Injury Central has you covered all year long with expert injury analysis and injury-based picks for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. Our former pro sports doctors have unmatched experience to analyze every injury so you know the impact of the player, team, and their upcoming matchup. Whether it's articles, podcasts, player insights, or our patented injury scores, Sports Injury Central will help you keep up with your fantasy team and make more informed wagers. So make sure you follow Sports Injury Central and gain an edge at sixscore.com.
What is the ceiling for this kid? Now that he's got the money, and we saw something click with him, what is the ceiling for a Jordan Love in this Green Bay team?
Deepest pass target group in the National Football League. 2 stud tight ends. They're legit 5 deep receivers. 7 bona fide pass targets. Come on, man. This guy could be a stud. Top 5 quarterback.
Game Time Decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
The bottom of this field is a bunch of guys, quite frankly, that aren't on the tour, aren't on the DP tour, aren't on the Corn Ferry tour.
You know, the top 25 or so in this field, I mean, you've got Rory, you've got Lowry, you've got Scheffler, you know, all 4 Americans, Minwoo Lee and Jason Day. And you go to Mito Pereira and Joaquin Neiman out of Chile. So, you know, it really is pretty deep.
In-game live, prime time, only on SportsGrid.
Try and set the stage for what should be a great year of NFL action.
There's a handful of teams that potentially can compete for a Super Bowl championship.
Confusion and uncertainty this year more than some in the past.
This team looks like it's ready to make a move, but we just don't know if it's bad or good this year.
J.J. McCarthy is eventually going to take over, but it's like it's a no-lose situation for them.
I mean, they suck. They were 7-10.
Only on
Back to right here on SportsGrid. Going to just try and hit some of the other options that you have tonight. With Donnie Rightside right around the corner, I'll see if there's anything he's involved with baseball-wise. Yanks are hosting the Red Sox here. Aaron Judge has not homered in 15 straight games. I don't know. If I somehow missed one, shame on me. I've looked at it. I don't think I have. I knew he slowed up. I didn't know he slowed up that much. He was at one point plus 250. Cooper Criswell, a righty who struggles against righties. Judge has done actually a lot more of his damage against the right-handed side this season. At some point, he's going to hit another home run. I don't think Judge has done it 51 here. It would be a look for me if you wanted to try and chase some juice. It's always tough with Judge because we know how expensive the prices can be. Nats at minus 185 against the Miami Marlins here tonight. Parker's got the ball. Darren McConaughey. I should be easier for me as an Irishman, but listen, we know how I am with names at times. The early returns on the McConaughey numbers he is atrocious. Both sides of the dish, 50 at-bats, allowing a 340-plus batting average here. Possibly tee-off season on any Washington National you would decide. Tonight, the Guardians against the Rays. This is just one of these spots. For those that were with us at the All-Star break, I had placed a Rays under and a Reds over in terms of updated win totals there. We're pacing well now with Tampa Bay really struggling. I'm looking for more of the same here in this game, though I don't know if I love that Gavin Williams minus 145 number here tonight against Tampa Bay. So I would be cautious in fading the Rays despite being on the road. Really fun game in Seattle. The Rangers have had this nightmare season that I know I certainly thought could happen here, but a little bit of juice to close out the year. Here comes Kumar Rocker. Let's see what he's got, right? This number tonight, plus 120 on Texas, goes against Bryce Miller, who's had a solid enough year for Seattle. Total checks in at a 7. I'm really interested to see what Kumar Rocker is. I know I'm doing now way too early baseball buy lows. Rangers next year could be the one, though. If that team enters the season with DeGrom, if he still pitches, Kumar Rocker, Scherzer, that could be... If they add a little bit to that lineup there, if Wyatt Langford, if these guys just progress, if you want my 2025 World Series pick, it might be the Texas Rangers. And then Giants, Brewers, Birdsong, Montas. I am personally annoyed because I bet an over the other day with Birdsong projected as the starter. He snuck out of there and now goes today. I just want nothing to do with that game. On the W tonight, you do have the one game. It's New York and Dallas, and these teams were just going at it the other day. They're running it back here. Same spread. My thought is at times it's tough to – this is a second consecutive game at home against the same team laying double digits. I know the Liberty got it done the first go-around, 105-91. They did it pretty comfortably as well with a 10-point first-quarter lead, 15-point lead at the end of the first half there. If I'm betting that game, I am looking to bet the Dallas Wings, though, catching better than double digits. You also have college football on the board tonight. South Alabama plays Northwestern State, monster spread, 37.5. But Texas State and Arizona State is a sneaky big game. Texas State has what is relatively one of the shorter prices of those G5 teams to make the college football playoff. They are in the Sun Belt. I bet a Sun Belt team to make the CFP in App State, but it was actually Texas State, who had the shorter number. And maybe some of that was due to the fact that the Bobcats, their power game this year is this matchup with Arizona State. And you can see the respect that the Bobcats get, a field goal favorite in this one. But Arizona State's beating up the books a little bit here. Arizona State smashed Wyoming, led to what looked like it could have been an inflated number against Mississippi State. 30-3 score. All of a sudden, that thing's 30-23. Then there's been a lot of buy on Texas State today. This game was pick earlier on. I'm taking a step back, but that's a big game. I might as well just mention, just so they don't get lost in the shuffle, but tomorrow, big college football, big Big 12. Kansas plays a solid UNLV team at home in that soccer stadium, off of the loss to Illinois that knocked them outside of that top 25, laying less than double digits. And then you go ranked, Kansas State, Arizona. Here's the trick, though. This is not a conference game. With all that realignment and stuff, K-State and Arizona were already slated to play. Big game, ranked, not Big 12 action. Donnie right side on deck with us here on Game Time Decision.
The Bostonian versus the book.
Would it make you feel better as a bettor or as a sports fan if
No.
they said after the game we were trying to cover the spread?
Oh God, to say it out loud. Oh my God, no.
So what?
No, to say it out loud. Oh my God, you can't say that out loud. No, you can't even. You can't do that.
Okay, so what is the big deal? Either way.
Oh, play the game the right way.
The Bostonian versus the book.
I feel like the first person to take a kicker in fantasy football is somebody that feels like, man, I had a really bad draft. Let me make sure I get the best kicker. The way I've always looked at it that way. Like, oh, I did so bad, so let me take Justin Tucker.
The key for me is, though, I make marks. Okay, this guy, I'll highlight him because I don't want 3 or 4 of these guys. I draft 3 or 4 of these guys and they all get hurt. I have no one to blame but me.
Fantasy sports today, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
All right, let's get into it. Game time decisions. Kevin Walsh, my guy, Donnie Whiteside in the mix with us, man. Let me do this quick, Donnie, just in case. Are you betting any baseball tonight? I know when the football comes around, you lock in, but I know you always have your numbers and, 3 hours, early line, big stuff. Anywhere people should look tonight?
Yeah, taking a look at 2 games tonight. And also, this is what the people love, right? We're going to go for some positive money, which means we're going for RBI props tonight. Got 2 of them tonight to take a look at. One of these games going to start at 6:45 today, Miami, Washington. McCohen, I believe is the pronunciation for my guy. I'm going to go McCohen on this one. I think that one makes the most sense here. Going up against Parker, the left-handed pitcher. The one thing we know about that Marlins lineup, not great overall, but Connor Norby at a plus 160 price to get an RBI, really doing well as a right-handed batter going up against left-handed pitching. I think that makes a lot of sense. Number 2. This is a guy that hasn't hit the long ball quite some time. I'm not going long ball tonight, but earlier this morning you got Aaron Judge to record an RBI around a plus 120 price today, and I think that's valid. You're looking at one of those guys, even though we don't have the power numbers in check right now, Kevin, the thing I love about him, he's still hammering the baseball here. High ISO power number, high weighted on base percentage. Why not get just I don't need a home run. I need a base knock for an RBI.
I was mentioning his home run prop. Just there's a level of due, 15 games.
Yep.
I won't get too lost in it because it is an NFL Thursday. Maybe playoffs, though, at some point.
Yeah.
Because there's the American League MVP board, a lot of them just stop hitting.
Yeah.
Bobby Witt's 350 batting average, way gone. Gunny had weird moments, but we'll handle that when it's there. You get some RBI props from the man himself. Let's talk some football here.
Yes.
Here's where I want to start off.
Okay.
The kind of stuff that I consider right up your alley, which is the Dolphins running back room and the fact that we don't know yet if Devon Achane is going to play.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you'll probably steer clear of betting these guys, but what is your read on if he plays and how effective he might be if he then does play?
Here's the thing, Kevin. We talked about it earlier on Moneyline. If the running back is going to play in this game, there's 2 choices that you're going to have to make. And that means how many times is he going to get the football or is he going to be a decoy? The worst case scenario, you bet in any touchdown prop and over prop and rushing yards, receiving, whatever it might be, and you get the camera over to the sideline, and what do the announcers do? They know ahead of time because they'll be able to call the broadcast. Hey, they let us know that Devon Achane is going to be an emergency 3rd running back tonight because they did activate a rookie running back today, which lets you know what they think of Devon Achane in the backfield. So for myself, I'm steering clear. And also, this is long-term on the season, Kevin. If they lose tonight, is the season over? They can't win the division? No. But Mostert is already down. He'll be back in time. Maybe it's 1 week, maybe it's 2 weeks, maybe it's 3 weeks. You know what you can't have? 2 of your starting tailbacks out 3 and 4 weeks to start this season. I look at this and say, you got some quality backups. He is built on speed. If it's an ankle injury, why are we rushing it on Thursday, Kevin? Honestly.
Well, so I think that is valid. I wonder if, not that they don't believe in Jeff Wilson, it's the running back position, but you're already without Mostert.
Correct.
So now you would be down top 2 backs going into the game. But I think the big thing with H.N. Donnie is when you look, right, we love buy low guys if we can in the wide receiver room, right?
Yep.
Donnie, who's the third wide receiver on this team? On the Miami Dolphins? It doesn't exist. They don't have a third wide receiver. It's
What about the kid that went to the U, huh? How about
Is that Barrios?
Braxton.
Yeah, but
Come on, man.
Legitimately,
yes.
He is, I'll put it in this way. He is the favorite to be a top 3 target guy on this team full season. So that is a situation why I think the dream scenario tonight for bettors, DRS, H.N. active, bet Jeff Wilson rushing. I think that's the perfect scenario because we know Jeff Wilson's healthy, and the books will be forced to put up a lower number with Devon H.N.
Correct.
Or in on that Jeff Wilson prop, assuming they are willing to post it.
And also keep in mind, what are we looking at Eastern here? 6:36. The reason I bring that up, Kevin, is pretty soon he is going to go out in the field to test it out. The beat writers will let you know, he's running around a little bit ginger, or, boy, I can't even detect a limp at all at this point, so we're just going to go full steam and play him all the way. So you do have the advantage to do that, and we always preach this as well, Kevin. If you don't have a clear-cut running back, wait till the game starts. You'll know the rotation right out of the gate, and why not wait to get that price? Because nothing is worse than outsmarting yourself.
It's a great point. We'll be live throughout that game, and I'll say if he is a listed starter, I'll give you one right to catch a pass on the first drive. They might just
test him out.
Yeah. I remember they did that once with Hurts, where we're like, you think Hurts can run tonight? The first play, end around, tapped it and ran. So sometimes that's how those things go. Are we getting an update from the field here?
What do we got?
Went through normal warm-ups without a trainer around.
That's good.
Another good sign.
That's a great sign because typically, as Kevin's pointing out here, when you get to the football field, you have trainers, general managers, coaches watching your every move. If they're not watching you and you're going to be active, that means you already got the blessing to play. So that's a good sign for H.N. backers tonight.
I think he plays. That's my read. I think he plays. And when he did play last year without Mostert, he was effective. Now, he didn't have injury. I don't know if he had injury designations, but we'll see what those props are. Speaking of running backs, though, you're trusting James Cook again tonight?
Yes.
What are you thinking here?
Here's what I think. I watched the tape last week, and he looks as good as advertised. And sometimes I go into some things that maybe some people don't look at. You see Josh Allen. He had an injury last week to his non-throwing hand. Not a big deal. Short week here. You saw him run 2 touchdowns in. What I saw from that football game was you got a capable running back. Do we need Josh Allen every time we get inside the 5-yard line to play bowling pins against the defense? No. Hand the football off. So tonight, I did bet an any touchdown market plus 175 on James Cook. I think his usage rate's going to be great. 15 to 20 touches, which probably means around 16 to 17 carries, maybe 2 or 3 catches out of the backfield. But I think he gets in the end zone tonight. I really do.
I struggle with it a lot because I don't know what it is. And maybe I'm projecting onto people. I feel like the Josh Allen touchdown rate is almost under-discussed. Because with Jalen Hurts, hey, don't bet DeAndre Swift. I'm telling you right now, you're throwing your money away. We know what Hurts is going to do.
Yep.
Well, Josh Allen last year tied Hurts for the most touchdowns in a single season by a quarterback, and then starts off week 1 with 2 rushing touchdowns. I think my worry with James Cook, Donnie, and it doesn't mean he can't get there, but it feels like you need him to hit one from the 14-yard line because everything inside the 5 belongs to Josh.
Because also tonight, when you're smart, I have a couple different bets we'll go over throughout the night, but if you're asking for touchdown props, here's an interesting shot. I do like Josh Allen to throw multiple touchdown passes. Same thing with Tua Tagovailoa. I did bet the game itself to go over 3.5 touchdown passes at a plus 135 price, which means you need 4 combined. 3 for 1, 2 for 2, 4-0. You get that done. But I told you I took James Cook. You know what else I took?
Who did you take? Josh Allen?
Big Josh.
No,
at plus money. So listen to me. Listen to me. Here's the goal tonight. That's the reaction you're supposed to get. But here's the way I play it out. If I get 1 touchdown pass tonight out of Josh Allen, you know what I probably got? 2 rushing touchdowns. One of those rushing touchdowns is going to be either Cook or it's going to be Allen. So worst case scenario on the touchdown props, I have my money back. Best case scenario, I go 1-1 and Cook has the plus 175. And if Allen throws 2 touchdown passes, then all I need to do is have Tua. Because I see Some people bet because they want to win every single wager on the card. I bet because I want more money in my account than I started with. And I'm sort of hedging the bet almost because if they run a touchdown in, who's getting it? Like if the backup running back, sweet baby Ray Davis, for Joe Leaster says all day long, he runs one in, I'm going to be upset. But I don't think that's the case. One of two guys is going to score a rushing touchdown. It better not be sweet baby Ray out there.
So I'll say this on sweet baby Ray. He's my best bet over 9.5 rushing yards.
Yeah.
But because of that, I was doing some research, and I like using Twitter as a tool just to see if there's anything that I'm missing. There's a lot of people on gambling Twitter who are betting him to score. Ray Davis at plus 800.
Yeah.
There are people who are giving him a chance here. I've seen, and by the way, I'm just talking about like random Twitter users.
Yeah.
People down here going like, well, we all know he's the goal line back. It's like, what? Do we know he's the goal line back?
Look, best case scenario for me tonight, Kevin, give me that dump pass at the 17-yard line. Cook runs it in. We all win. Because I had Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown and also needed at least a touchdown pass out of the Philadelphia Eagles last week. You get the one to Saquon Barkley. It's a party right off the bat. I would love to see that. Dream scenario. I would love to see it.
I am really interested with how it plays out tonight with what Buffalo offense does just in general, Don.
Yeah.
They only threw the ball 23 times last week.
It's a good point, though.
In a game that they were trailing by 14 at the 2-minute warning. Now, they scored before the break and, pretty quickly got themselves right back into a normal game script, right? By the, basically 10-minute mark, they'd even that all up. I just wonder if this is a team who looks around the pass-catching room, looks at Josh's desire at times to go nuts, and that's good or bad, and go, you know what? We like running the football here. We like playing slow and controlled, and I don't know how many opportunities that could leave. It makes for a really, really interesting spot. Let's get some Week 2 look-aheads on the board here. It's Game Time Decisions on SportsGrid.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Would it make you feel better as a bettor or as a sports fan if they said after the game we were trying to cover the spread?
Oh, God. To say it out loud? Oh, my God, no.
So what,
to say it out loud? Oh, my God. You can't say that out loud. No, you can't do that.
Okay, so what is the big deal either way?
Oh, play the game the right way.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
I feel like the first person to take a kicker in fantasy football is somebody that feels like, man, I had a really bad draft. Let me make sure I get the best kicker. The way I've always looked at it that way. Like, oh, I did so bad, so let me take Justin Tucker.
The key for me is, though, I make marks. Okay, this guy, I'll highlight him because I don't want 3 or 4 of these guys. I draft 3 or 4 of these guys and they all get hurt. I have no one to blame but me.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
Back right here on SportsGrid, Game Time Decisions, and we are going to look a little bit ahead on SportsGrid here tonight. Donnie and I, of course, will be live not just tonight, but on Sunday when we're going through that full slate. And the big game is going to be, it was always going to be, Kansas City and Cincinnati. And if you were to say, hey, the Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites in that game, I wouldn't have batted an eye at it, right? I mean, it's Kansas City at home off of a win. I'm talking about, preseason, right? I wouldn't have But it's interesting with the way Cincinnati looked in week 1 and the fact that I don't think anybody expects T. Higgins to play and the fact that this line was 6 and it's moved the other direction.
Yes.
I mean, it almost feels like people are dying to bet Cincinnati. I don't know if that means that all the Bengals struggles in week 1s are overreactions. You're kind of the Cincinnati whisperer, or at minimum, I know you love the whole situation they got going on. What is your read with everything involving Cincinnati heading into week 2?
Well, this is a dream here for, let's just say, contrarian bettors / sharp bettors. What they do is pick on the public and say, before the week starts, watch this. Every team that was terrible, we're going to get great numbers on them because nobody wants to bet the opposite way. And, Kevin, you're right. The average person will look at that Cincinnati-Kansas City game. What gives? Cincinnati, looked horrendous in that football game. We'll get to them in a second.
Yeah.
Kansas City looked very good and won that game. Late comeback almost by the Ravens didn't happen. Who is the best coach in the NFL, maybe in history, with giving extra time to prepare? It's Andy Reid. Was he have extra time to prepare? Basically a bye week they got to take on Cincinnati. I watched the Cincinnati film, Kevin. It was terrible. Now, it wasn't just like we didn't capitalize on our opportunities. You can't win football games without explosive plays. They had no explosive plays, nobody to get downfield, no running back showing up in that game. So now you look at the spread and say it opens up at 3.5, now it sits at 5.5, and I seem to love the 5.5 because what I saw out of Cincinnati, if no T. Higgins is here, okay, it's Jamar Chase. You focus on him. Where is their offense coming from? Ice Shavas or whatever his name is, wide receiver? That's your guy you're going to? So I look at that spread myself. I don't care. It's like, hey, it's a trap, and they didn't play well. There's no way I am betting Cincinnati on the road to take care of business because I couldn't stand what I saw.
I think what's funny is, and maybe, because I know that Cincinnati would be the sharp side.
Yes.
When I first saw that number at 6, I said, "Ooh, man, I think that might have some juice." Quick interruption, breaking news, some juice confirmed.
Yeah.
Devon Achane in tonight for the Miami Dolphins.
Big.
Inactives have come out. He is active. He is up. He is a go here. We're going to let the sports books settle, and we'll get you all the updated running back props in just a moment, all right? We're going to let those settle. We'll stick here quickly with the Cincinnati conversation because, Donnie, I now feel that there is, and I think the history of Burrow versus Mahomes is likely playing a factor. The one guy who, if anybody has a claim to having patent the Chiefs' number, it is Joe Burrow. But he looked awful again in the opening week of the season. And if that is the risk, I'm very excited to talk to Doc on Sunday and get his thoughts with all of this. It means that then week over week, it's just not going to be fixed. It's not going to be fixed. I have no reason to believe that they're going to show up and hang 30 on Kansas City on the road.
Well, let's put things in perspective as well. You can say that. Let's just say last week, Kevin, Cincinnati went up against Kansas City, and they lost that game. Like, one of the best teams in the NFL. You went up against one of the worst teams in the NFL and got smashed in your own building. This wasn't as if it's like we just weren't prepared. They went 5 wide. They had an unbelievable quarterback, and they set us on fire. That was an offense that goes, you guys can't score. Yeah. And New England goes, we'll just hand the football off and laugh at you the entire way through, and it worked. That's the worry. Kevin, they didn't lose 34-33. Oh, we'll get it next week. They lost because they were embarrassing on offense, playing the least, most talented team in the NFL, and were down double digits and couldn't come back and win.
And let me just say as well, with New England, you might look at that box score and think, oh, man, that's how Bill Belichick would do it, right? Low, ugly, scoring, trust your defense. The Patriots' defense does not have a lot of talent. I know the kid out of Oregon, Christian Gonzalez, certainly got a lot of rave reviews for what he did in that opening week, and people are interested what he'll do against DK Metcalf in week 2. I got you. They lost Judon. Mm-hmm. They don't have a lot of juice on that end of the football. So that's kind of my issue is the fact that offense looked the way it did. Like that total's 47.5.
Yep.
They are expecting Cincy to show up offensively, and I'm not sure I can trust that. There's another injury spot for week 2 that is going to extend now for a couple of weeks, and it's Puka Nacua hitting the IR. Mm-hmm. And there are sometimes then situations come up where books simply can't set numbers high enough / they're in a bind. Cooper Kupp in week 1 caught 14 passes on 21 targets for well over 100 yards. 7.5 receptions, 84.5 yards. Caught the touchdown, Donnie. His touchdown price is a plus price.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong if I told you that I'm expecting Cooper Kupp to basically just be the offensive player of the year now that Puka's out, and this is what Kupp's going to look like?
This is what we saw a couple years ago when we said, nobody can cover this guy. You know it's going to him, and he's still wide open. It looks like that's the case. Let's also get behind the Rams, who are extremely banged up. Now, coming into the season, we're talking about those low-level teams, like the New England Patriots, the Carolina Panthers, and also the Arizona Cardinals. Did you see the latest line in that game? Favorites now, the Arizona Cardinals over the Rams. And most people would see that game last year like, wait a second. The Rams almost beat Detroit, who a lot of people have possibly going to the Super Bowl this year. How could they be underdogs? Well, when you're losing your tackles left and right, when you're losing one of your best wide receivers and players, and you're on the road, those things start to add up. It still is a quite shocking line to see that it completely flipped from a 2.5-point favorite back down to a 1.5-point favorite now for Arizona.
But the thing is, with Puka and the offensive line issues, I mean, you probably are looking at a shootout, at least,
always
higher
Cardinals. Yeah.
totals. My thing is, in an interesting way, the offensive line injuries almost make Kupp from the reception end of it more dangerous because for everybody who watched Sunday Night Football, which I'm sure is basically all of you, it's just it's 5-yard outs. I mean, yeah, there's a couple of deep shots there, but Matt Stafford is getting the ball out so quick. And he's going one read, boom, and the read is always Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
It's just always Cooper Kupp. There's nothing you can do. 21 targets. I wonder if it's like, oh, hey, maybe we should hand it off to Kyron and slow it down. We can't run block. Our offensive line's a mess. It's a really fascinating game, and it's a big game because, for people that are in on the Rams, and I didn't make any Rams bets, but I understood all Rams positive bets. 0-2. With the second loss being Arizona? Come on now.
Two NFC losses.
100%. That puts you way, way behind the 8 ball. As we said, Devontae Chant is in. We'll get to those updated numbers next on Game Time Decisions.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
Would it make you feel better as a bettor or as a sports fan if they said after the game we were trying to cover the spread?
Oh, God. To say it out loud? Oh, my God, no.
So what,
to say it out loud? Oh, my God. You can't say that out loud. No, you can't do that.
Okay, so what is the big deal either way?
Oh, play the game the right way.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
I feel like the first person to take a kicker in fantasy football is somebody that feels like, man, I had a really bad draft. Let me make sure I get the best kicker. The way I've always looked at it that way. Like, oh, I did so bad, so let me take Justin Tucker.
The key for me is, though, I make marks. Okay, this guy, I'll highlight him because I don't want 3 or 4 of these guys. I draft 3 or 4 of these guys and they all get hurt. I have no one to blame but me.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
When you're really, really amazing like this, people kind of take it for granted. Same with Ohtani, right? People will sort of see, oh, Ohtani did this, Ohtani did that, and it sort of, becomes normalized a little bit. But to put in context, Aaron Judge joins the 1,000 hit club, reaches, gets it done. So earlier this month, he was the fastest player to reach 300 home runs ever.
Sports Rage Late Night, only on SportsGrid.
Let's go. Welcome to the Live Golf Team Championship. The golf has been mesmerizing. They are the Live Golf Team Champions.
Team golf is back.
Oh, yes! Are you ready?
Let's go!
That's what champions do.
Back with you right here, getting set for Dolphins-Bills on Thursday night. A 2.5-point spread, a 48.5 listed total right now. Are those the numbers that you're seeing for this game, Donnie? It seems pretty consistent across the card.
Yeah, it seems like we have the 48.5. Only 148 out there I'm seeing here at Bet365. Everybody else 48.5 for the totals, and it looks like everybody's in agreement, that 2.5 number. Some with light juice, some around minus 115. We talked to earlier. That's not going to 3. Like, it's not. It's going to stay at 2.5, and we'll see that at game time tonight.
It started at minus 1, so if anybody were to, if you pop the 3 as a book, you would be looking to get a Bills bet.
Get some
3.
back,
That's
yes.
all that's going to.
Correct.
That's all that's going to happen. Do you have a lean for the side tonight?
What's my old adage? I'm taking the home team or no team on a Thursday night. So I like the Buffalo Bills. They have a legitimate chance to win. And, yes, the Thursday night football game is early in the season, so it's not as impactful as week 8, 9, or 10 where all that attrition would kick in and the bones just aren't recovering during the week. So, yeah, if I had to take a wager, it'd only be on the Miami Dolphins.
All right, I'm going to read a report that came from Cameron Wolf, who spent a lot of time, I know, covering the Dolphins. He's with NFL Network. And the report just simply reads that the 3 running backs are active. Then he goes on to say, talked with a couple of Dolphins figures at stadium. Achane is expected to lead the backfield as long as his ankle holds up. A lot of excitement in seeing what Wright does in his first NFL action. So we take that and we put it then into the props tonight, Donnie.
Yeah.
Achane, from a rushing end of it, looks at 47.5, rushing, receiving 82.5. Jeff Wilson, I've seen a rushing total at 30.5. Anytime touchdown scorers. Just when you see the numbers, what is your read?
Let's just not outsmart each other tonight. You know who the lead back is. He's starting for a reason tonight. And also, the same thing I always talk about, Kevin. If a wide receiver or tight end, let's just say, is a little bit banged up, are they using him on their own 15-yard line? No. They're going to use him in the red zone at the 15-yard line. The packages will be in. Who do you trust inside the 5-yard line if your running back is healthy and you say, I want to give him 10 to 15 touches tonight? You're not giving it to him on your own 30-yard line. You're giving it to him on the plus 20 and going in. So if I'm looking at Devon Achane and you tell me, I'm going to go yards, I'm going to go touchdowns, I can't fight with you. He wouldn't be active tonight and starting if he wasn't healthy enough to at least get 10 to 15 touches.
Yeah, I think that is the expectation in Devon Achane's career. 5 games with double-digit carries. He scored a rushing touchdown in 4 of them. And the one game he didn't score a rushing touchdown, he caught a touchdown.
Yeah.
The kid's a machine. There's a reason I'm on him from Offensive Player of the Year. You know, I talk about my Dolphins futures. I feel like tonight matters a lot from the perception and their own self-belief. From a Devon Achane Offensive Player of the Year perspective, tonight actually matters a lot. Believe it or not. Listen, he's competing against a favorite who's on his own team in Tyreek Hill, who maybe just, if he starts chasing 2,000 yards again, it won't matter.
Yeah.
My thing is, how many games will Achane get without Raheem Mostert around? Potentially not a lot. And Achane's a little banged up here tonight, but it's a primetime spot. If he holds up tonight, Donnie, and they give this kid 20 touches, I expect 150 total yards and 2 touchdowns. That's if he holds up, though.
Yeah, no, and again, you will know right away if he looks sharp out there. Now, they're not going to give him a whole load there because you're going to have 3 running backs active. You're going to spray it out. But the important carries, the important touches, they're going to Devon Achane. I would be shocked if we get to the goal line and he's not the goal line back getting those carries.
There's a number tonight, and here's what I'll probably do is there's a plus 125, 125 plus rushing receiving at 5-1.
Yeah.
I'll probably take a chance. I don't want his minus 130 anytime touchdown, even if I think it's a winner. You can find better in the market, by the way. Yeah. I want to try and take a chance on the ceiling of him tonight. I will just say the report from Cameron Wolf, it backed me off my idea I wanted to bet Jeff Wilson. Maybe they like the kid Jalen Wright. Maybe Wilson's not going to be all that involved. I don't need to bet Jeff Wilson at 30.5. I'm not getting 22.5. Okay, I probably bet it. 30.5, I'm backing off Jeff Wilson.
No, I understand. I do understand that. But also, if I'm looking at the game overall tonight, I'm sort of backing off the rushing props per se on the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
But I don't mind the looks. If he's active, he's going to be the lead back. He's going to get first shot at cracking the end zone. And if we're looking at, let's just say, hey, the Miami Dolphins ran 2 in, and Devon Achane didn't get one of those, that would be a mild upset. So I do think he's going to find pay dirt tonight, Kevin.
Just quickly run through your bets because I don't know if you'll be on with Casey. I know Lisi will be on with Casey later on. That crew's taking over in just a minute's time here, but just run through that action for
Here's what we have so far. I do have Josh Allen plus 100 anytime touchdown, James Cook anytime touchdown plus 175, and also over 3.5 touchdown passes tonight in the game at plus 135. The reason I love that, even if a quarterback goes down, Kevin, or if a wide receiver throws a touchdown pass, it still counts there. Also, same game parlay tonight, Tyreek 50 reception yards, 5 receptions on a little bonus. So I'm invested, and I look to be more invested as well.
Dolphins 2.5, Knox over 12.5 receiving, Ray Davis 9.5 rushing, Waddle anytime touchdown score. Casey Hudson and the pregame show next on Sports Grid.